Hey guys, it's Rick. I'm back with another video today. We are going to be doing a mixed media card using some supplies from Miss Ink Stamps. I'm going to use the Queen of Hearts stamp set and dies, the Pick a Card stencil, the Alice Backgrounds pack, and the hand-drawn hearts stencil. For all my ink blending, I have pulled out my color palette and my card bases. I've chose two different shades of browns, 2 different shades of reds, and a light green color. And I have my white for stamping and my white card base. Top folding A2 card base. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my 2 images that I picked for my focal images and for the inside of my card. So a little sneak peek there. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this down on my Neenah Classic Crest Cardstock and TUXEDO black ink. And then we're going to let those dry for a minute. I've got my lightest brown cardstock shade, and I'm going to lay the diamond pattern from the Alice background pack onto my card base, and I'm going to ink blend over this using my Distress Oxide inks, and I'm going to use Antique Linen to start off with. I just wanted to have a lighter shade of the diamonds back there. And I am going to end up switching my mat out because I grabbed the smaller one and should have went ahead and grabbed the bigger one. So I'm going to go ahead and layer that off, get that off to the side, clean it off. And this is the second layer of the stencil. I shifted it down and over a little bit to get these other diamonds into the openings. And I'm just using black Soot Distress Oxide ink. So I'm just going to go through and finish ink blending this on. And then we're going to go ahead and layer on the third stencil shortly. So we're just going to go ahead and finish ink blending all this on. I guess I need to re-ink my pad because it's a little dry. It took me a little while to get the intensity of the color I wanted. So that is something to be aware of when you're ink blending. Make sure you have a nice fresh pad to get a nice bold look if that's what you're going for. This really didn't matter because we're going to go for a more vintagey kind of feel with our images, our background paper. Now for the heart layer, I'm going to shift it up and back into the center of the original diamond pattern. So I'm going to end up shifting it down a little bit, and I'm going to mask off the top because this is where I wanted it. They actually go in the darker, the smaller. They line up with the smaller diamond pattern. I couldn't think of what those were. So I'm just using some Candied Apple Distress Oxide ink to ink blend over that. Since we are ink blending on colored cardstock, that's another tip. If you want a good bold impression, use some Oxide inks for that. Now I'm going to shift everything back up and do that first row that I missed. That way everything's lined up perfectly, because with these stencils, all you got to do is line everything up with the previous row and everything lines up. There is my first panel. I'm going to set that to the side to dry. Now I've got my lightest red shade of cardstock, and I'm going to put the hand-drawn heart stencil over that. And I'm going to come in with the Picket Fence Distress ink, and I'm going to ink blend that. Any white ink, pigment ink would work. But since we were going ahead and using some Distress ink Oxides, I went ahead and grabbed that one because it's easier to use. And so I'm just going to ink blend all those hand-drawn heart stencils of that. Don't worry, we're going to be doing some more to these in just a minute. We're just getting to the basic stencil part first. Now, after I cleaned my stencil off, I'm going to go ahead and pull that back, and we'll move this one to the side. And then I've got my darker brown shade of cardstock, and this is where we are using the, I think this is the Pick a Card stencil, and it has 2 different layers. They are different pattern. You have the hearts and diamonds on one layer, and the clubs and the spades on the other one. So for the heart and diamonds, I'm going to go ahead and do those in the Candied Apple, and then I'll peel that back and replace that with the other stencil. And this one I'm going to do blacks. No, I do Picket Fence because I didn't want to go black. There are the etch lines on the stencil, so you know where to line everything up to have them perfectly spaced. So that makes it super easy. So we're just going to go ahead and finish ink blending with our Picket Fence. It doesn't have to be super perfect because of what we're going to do next. So I'll just go ahead and finish that, clean off my stencil, pull that back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take one of the small topped out sentiments from the Queen of Hearts stamp set, And I'm going to stamp that using ground espresso oxide ink. And I'm doing first, second, and third generation stamping just in the background. And I'm making sure that I'm going to come off the page. That way it's going to look continuous no matter what. I took her little scepter and I'm going to stamp that around the background because we're making our own little pattern paper back here with lots of fun vintage textures and feel. So this is another way you can stretch your stamps and get a lot more bang for your buck. Especially when you have, it's easy to do when you have super cute stamps like this from Missing Stamps. Now I've taken one of the rows from the set and I'm stamping it in that same first and second generation using the Candied Apple Distress ink. So I'm just going to go through and do that, and then I'm going to come in and add a second layer because if you remember from the story, they are painting the white roses red. So we're going to have some white roses on there. So I'm just going to do first, I think I did first generation stamping. That way it made it easier. And I just added some of those just on there, letting the stamping overlap. Everything's all cool and good. So we're just going to go ahead and finish up that. And then I will set this panel off to the side for just a minute. Oh, I'm going to put everything in my splat box because we are going to do some splattering. So I'm going to start off using, I believe, yeah, it's the Yuletide Distress Mica Stain. And because I wanted a little shimmer. So I'm just flicking it off of the end of the nozzle onto all three panels. And then I'm going to do also a little bit more because if a little good, a lot's better. I'm using the Tarnished Brass Distress Spray Stain. I'm sorry, I think the first one was the Distress Mica Stain Yuletide. I'm sorry. And then we're going to add a little white splatter with the Picket Fence. And then I'll set all these panels off to the side to dry while I color up my images. For my coloring, I'm going to use my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers. I just got these for Christmas. So we are going to put them through their paces. I'm going to go ahead and I'm using this is, I think it's the dark red blend. I'm just going to add that. This is the darkest color. And if you don't know, these markers have a dark, medium, and light on each marker. So it makes blending super easy and to know where everything goes. So I'm going to blend that out with the medium color. And then I will blend all that out with the lighter red that's on the other end of the marker. We're going to do our little hearts, her shoes, and the little trim on her dress, along with her puffy little sleeves. So we'll go in now with the lightest color, blend that out, and just get everything nice and blended. I did forget to do the medium up at the top, but no worries. We're just going to blend everything together. It'll be okay. No one's going to notice, and it will be perfectly fine. So we'll go ahead and blend out her shoes. And we are going to go ahead and do the red on our little hair over on the sides. And I decided to do his trim, the hearts, and the alternating parts of his ruffle collar. I don't know what you'd really call that. I didn't live in that time, so I don't know what those are called. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and color that out and blend everything together using our tri-blend brush or tri-blend markers. And now I'm going to come in and do the darker red shade. This is the dark red shade. And I'm just going to color the inside part of her dress, that color. And so that's the darkest color. I'm going to come in with the medium right now, blend the dark out. And then, because I did get both sets for Christmas, so we're going to use both sets. So I'm going to go ahead and blend that out with the lightest color, touch up the little sleeves, and then I'm going to come in with the the gray ice shades, and I will fill that in with the lightest color. And I'm just going to color the entire thing in that one shade, and then we will add our detail work. So I'm just doing the top, the bodice of the dress, and the bottom part of her dress. Now I'm coming in with the darker shade, the darkest of the ice gray, and adding my shadows in on both sides and to the bodice of her dress. I believe that's what that's called, if memory serves correctly. So we're just going to go ahead and add those in, and then I'll blend that out with the medium color on the top and the bottom, and then we will blend everything together with our lightest color to create our highlight. So we'll just flip that around to the light shade and blend everything together. So there we go. There is our little queen. We're going to do the inside of the stripe at the bottom of her dress with the light gray, the ice gray blend, the lightest color. I did go over the top because I'm going to color over that and make it look like it's see-through. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow with the medium and the dark and then blend that all together. Now for the skin, I just used a fair skin blend and I started with the darkest color anywhere there would be a shadow and just blended that out with the medium. And I'm going to come in after that and add in the lightest color. You can see how the gray is going to make it that top. It's going to look very see-through. We're going to add a little bit more detail to that shortly. So we'll just blend that together. I'm going to add a little bit of cheek in there. And I just picked one of the pink colors and just added that in there just to give her a little rosy cheek. I believe it was the pale pink blend, but you never know. All right, for our little hair, we got to do the black on his outfit. So I'm just using the ice gray blend to put that in. And so I'm just going to color all of that in there, add the little shadows, blend that out with the medium color. And because I do want it to kind of look a little white, but not too white. And then I'm going to use the brown gray blend to color our little rabbit. And I'm just going around the edge with the darkest color. And then I'm going to blend out with the medium, just going right over what we previously colored. And then the lightest color as well. We'll just blend that out just ever so slightly. And then I'm going to take the blender and come over all that to blend everything together. And that way our little hair will still look like he's a little white rabbit. So we're just coming in with the blender now, blending everything together. And those harsh lines that was left. That way everything's nice and blended. Now I'm going to do his little tail because I forgot it. And I'm just going to use a lightest color and then the blender. Now for the gold parts, I'm using the gold brown blend. I think this is the gold brown shade. No, it's the blend. So I'm just going to color that together. And starting with the darkest color and moving into the lightest. And then I will, it's the blend. So we're just going to color that to make it look gold. We're also going to do the same thing to her crown on the top of her little head, and I'll blend that, put it in the darkest, blend out the lightest. It's all good. So for her hair, I decided she was going to be an auburn colored hair. So for that, I picked out the burnt orange blend, and I'm just going to start off with the darkest, blend with the medium, and then blend with the light. We've already been through all this with the other colors, so it's all the same thing, just with our blending. So now I'm going to take and cut those out with the matching dies. And I'm pulling in my panels now. And we are going to I'm going to cut these down to the sizes I need. And I'm going to start laying it up. The green I chose to use as my matte layers. Now I will caution you with the sprays, especially the mica stain. Let them sit for a while because they were not dry completely, even though I had dried them and thought they were dry. Rick got the red all over his fingers, but I just cut a 1/8 of an inch mat on all of my layers, and I'm going to attach this to my card base. This is my first panel of my card. You can see that beautiful, all that texture on that stenciled background. It looks fabulous along with our little stamping to add all that extra texture in there. Now for this, I'm going to add little shims on one side. I'm just going to stack those. I'm just using that same green cardstock to build up that layer so everything's nice and even. And then I'll take and add my hand-drawn heart pattern background on there. So there's our next pattern. For this, I'm going to add just a little strip of that green on one side. And then I will cut the rest of it off. I just wanted a little bit of pop of that green. I'm going to add some shims under there as well. That's why I flipped it over so everything was nice and level. You could use foam tape for this, but I just find it easier to use some of that cardstock scrap, and it helps me get rid of some of the scraps. So that's what we're doing. I'm just going to build all this up. Remember, you can pick all these products up on Mix Ink Stamps for our stencils and the stamp set. So you can pick all that up over there. I have everything linked and listed below. I did cut a die cut heart out of the darkest red cardstock. I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape at the top of the heart. And I'll peel that off because that way everything else was nice and level with my piece. But that one pop of color gives the eye a place to rest because we have so much going on with the other parts of the card. So that solid color helps me have that little resting point. Now we're just going to attach our little Queen of Hearts, and I'm just going to add her with some liquid glue right across the heart. My little hair I'm going to add to the inside of the card. And I did finish that off by adding some little hearts on the inside as well that I cut out for the die for my stash. Now I'm going to add foam tape behind my sentiment. I just stamped it on the green cardstock. That way everything's not tied into our color palette. I have these little paper hearts that I cut out using that die for my stash out of our lighter red cardstock panel. And I'm just going to pop on a few of these to tie everything in and add a little bit more hearts on there because she is the Queen of Hearts. So we should have extra hearts. I believe Miss Ink Stamps has a die set that has some small hearts in it. I'll have to double check. If so, I'll link that below. Now for the details on the dress, I did add some gold gel pen highlights along with the highlights on the crown and in the rabbit's little horn. I'm adding some white gel pen highlights right here. And on her dress and on the die cut heart in the background. And we're just going to finish adding our little highlights. And then once that gets done, I'm going to finish the card off by adding a few white little stardust stickles to the crown, to the hearts on her dress, to her little shoes because she needed some sparkly shoes, to our little poofs on her dress and the trimmings on the dress. I wanted it to look nice and festive, royal. And I did add stardust stickles to all my little hearts to make them shine, to make them stand out from the background. And here is a closer look at my card. If you like this video, you're probably going to like the one coming up right now here. Bye guys, love you, stay crafty.